I'm Stacy.
And I'm Allison, and we're the lab techs at the Kalamazoo, Michigan office. We just wanted to create this video in the hopes that it helps you when you set up your new office. We wish you all the luck. So we have an adult participant here in the office for their study office visit. So we will set up our supplies for an adult participant. We'll need supplies for whole blood and for serum. For whole blood, you'll need a pre-screened 2 milliliter vial and a regular 2 milliliter cryo vial. For serum, you'll have 4 10 milliliter transfer tubes and 2 5 milliliter transfer tubes, as well as 1 FluidX 2 milliliter cryo vial and 2 regular 2 milliliter cryo vials. In total for serum, you'll have 9 tubes. So now that we have received the blood from the phlebotomist, we'll document the time received and the amount of tubes received on the hard copy form. In REDCap, you'll make sure that the labels on each tube match, and also check to see if the participant consents to future testing. So first we can pull out the red top tube as well as the 3 tiger top tubes and place those in a tube rack off to the side. Set your timer for 60 minutes. While those are clotting, we can process the whole blood. So we received 2 purple top tubes from the phlebotomist. We'll take our first purple top tube and gently invert it. Next, we'll go to the REDCap section for the WBL sample. In REDCap, scan the appropriate label for the WBL sample. Affix that label to the tube. Also fill out a LabCorp label. Put both of these labels onto the tube and then store it in the refrigerator. Now we can process the WBR and WBS samples using the second purple top tube. First, invert the tube. Using a pre-screened plastic pipette, ALIQUOT 1 milliliter into the pre-screened 2 milliliter vial, and 1 milliliter into the regular 2 milliliter cryo vial. These will be your WBR and WBS samples. You can discard any remaining blood in the purple top tube. In REDCap, under the WBR section, find the correct CDC label and scan the first and second barcodes. Manually enter the third number. Affix this label to the pre-screened 2 milliliter vial. For the WBS sample, find the correct CDC label and do the same. Scan it into REDCap and affix it to the tube. After processing, make sure to mark collected on the hard copy processing form. Your whole blood samples are now done, and they'll get stored in the refrigerator until the end of the shift when they'll go into the -80 freezer. Moving on to the serum samples. So the blood has now clotted for 1 hour. When adding the samples to the centrifuge, make sure that they're balanced. You'll be adding the red top tube and your 3 tiger top tubes, as well as an appropriate balance tube. These will spin in the centrifuge at 3,400 RPMs for 15 minutes. Make sure to mark on your hard copy processing form the start and end times of centrifuging. Using the smaller auto pipette, grab your red top tube. Following the prioritization list for the appropriate sample order and volume amount, start with your S09 and do an ALIQUOT for that sample first. Adjust your pipette for the appropriate volume and do your SR sample next. If there's enough serum left in the red top tube after those 2 samples, you can ALIQUOT your SS sample. Any extra serum will go into a regular 2 milliliter cryo vial. Discard your tip when you're done, and discard the red top tube. Now we can move on to the tiger top tubes. Using the larger EPPENDORF pipette for the next 3 specimens, we'll do SL1, SL2, and SL3 in that order. Make sure to adjust your pipette in between each sample. Switch back to the smaller auto pipette for the rest of the SL samples. First, draw SL4, adjust your pipette, and do SL5, then adjust it again for SL6. You can discard the red top and tiger top tubes in the sharps container. Make sure to mark on the hard copy form all of the collected specimens, and also fill out your LabCorp requisition forms at this time. Then go into REDCap and scan and affix all of the appropriate CDC labels on your S09 sample, next your SR sample, then the SS sample. Then you can do SL1, SL2, SL3, SL4, SL5, and SL6. All LabCorp specimens also require that LabCorp label. In addition, SL5 and SL6 also need frozen serum from SST labels to be affixed to the tubes. Next, SL1, SL2, and SL3 get bagged together with their requisition form in the bag. These are our room temperature samples and can be set aside. Then WBL and SL4 get bagged together, also with their requisition form in the bag as well. These get placed into the refrigerator until going into the lockbox at the end of the shift. SL5 and SL6 are the frozen samples. They also get bagged together with their requisition form. These will go into the -80 freezer. They must lay on their sides and be frozen for at least 30 minutes before going into the lockbox at the end of the shift. Now we're ready to pack up our specimens for shipment. First, we'll get our whole blood specimens from earlier out of the refrigerator. We'll also go into the freezer and grab our available sample boxes. Into these boxes we'll place the WBR, WBS, S09, SR, SS, and any extra samples into the corresponding boxes. Then we'll place these back into the -80 freezer. At the end of the shift, when it's time to pack up the LabCorp lockbox, grab your frozen box out of the freezer. When packing this frozen box, one gel pack goes on the bottom. Then you'll place the bag containing SL5 and SL6 on top of that gel pack. Add another gel pack to the top of the bag. Close up the frozen box. When packing the LabCorp lockbox, that frozen box will go to the far right. The refrigerated samples will go into the middle, and the ambient room temperature samples go to the far left, farthest from the frozen samples.